Alright, so I am currently sick, and that can be very bad because depending on the severity of it, that can like really slow down my momentum, but I'm not gonna let it do that, right? I'm not gonna let it slow me down at all. I'm gonna keep on going, and I hope that y'all keep on going as well. So yeah, check out the Heimdall video if you want to enter a giveaway, comment your MCOC New Year's resolution, and subscribe. And yeah, don't forget that every 1,000 subscribers in January is plus one dial surpass for a February giveaway. So I'm not letting this sickness stop me, and don't let that little subscribe button stop you from entering a giveaway. Yeah, current count 15.8k, very close to the first 1,000 milestone of the month. So now let's talk about Kang for a little bit, and I do apologize if I sound stuffy and I sound like a bit out of it. I am out of it. I'm like running on autopilot pretty much, but I had to make this video today because this Kang fella is very good. Like, of course he needs a synergy to be good, but when he has this synergy, he is such a strong champion. Right there, start off with a beautiful, like, what, 30,000 plus crit, and the ramp up isn't even like what 25% done. So what the synergy is, it is the Mcoc synergy, and every 4 seconds Kang gains a 20% fury buff, and this stacks up to 20, so at max ramp he has plus 400% attack rating. Now here's why this is very good. Kang has a very simple kit that is just really strong if you ask me, because he has two of the most cheesiest abilities in this game. He has access to a stun on the SP1, and pairing that with a relic lets him stun loop a lot of fights in Act 8 and just in general, to be honest. Additionally, he also has a full power drain on the SP2, which is one of the strongest mechanics in the game, and like that being available for a 7-star character is just absurd, right? So now we have this Gauntlet Vision here, and you may think that we're going to try to power drain him, but he does have the power bond node, so instead we're going to do something else here. We're going to like play it slow for like the first like phase of this fight, and once we're ready, we're going to try to stun lock this vision fight, and the result is honestly crazy, man. So here he drops the SP2, no big deal, and now I have 1.9 bars of power. I'm going to drop the SP1, but we're not going to fully stun loop just yet. I'm going to wait and build some more furies and power, so like once he is, about to enter like his final synthesis where he's going to gain that 3rd bar of power, I will be ready to just stun lock him. And we're approaching that time, and I'm just gonna send it right here, man. So here we go in, do 3 hits, go back in, drop the SP1 one more time, 17,000 medium crits by the way, and that's only going higher at this point. So yeah, it is actually so dang good. 47,000 SP1 as well, go back in, drop the SP1, 52,000 crit right there, and this damage output is just silly. We dropped some 21,000 crits right there into another SP1, and yeah, this stun loop is just absolutely unreal, and the fight is pretty much done now. And yeah, that is Kang for you. That is absurd, man. Like, having access to a stun loop is already very strong, but having access to a stun loop and power drain, and with a synergy getting plus 400% attack rating, that is the recipe for an absolute machine, right? Because like I said earlier, having access to a stun loop and having access to power drain are two of like some of the craziest abilities in this game, because they can just cheese so many different fights, right? And the simplicity of Kang allows him to take fights like this, for example, where he doesn't need any debuffs, he doesn't need like anything except for his fury buffs, which Spider-Ham does not counter, so we are just chilling for this matchup. And yeah, that's why he is so good for a lot of these gauntlet fights, since like the demand for some of the nodes isn't that much, and that lets Kang excel, because while his kit is very simple, that does have its pros sometimes. And yeah, just like the Thanos video, this has been so much fun to like, really test out Kang. And shout out to J Will as well. Like, that man has been on the Kang train since like a pretty long time, I can tell you that much. And yeah, like I doubted him at like one point, so I do apologize, J Will, but I've seen the light. This guy is really strong. He is a very strong character. And yeah, compared to like Thanos, to be fair, Thanos like genuinely is kind of cracked with the synergy team too. So these final bosses, of course, like people always want them to get buffed, but when you just like have fun with them, they do like surprising things. Like this Kang video will honestly surprise a lot of people, because it surprised me for sure. I was like, wow, this guy is hitting so hard, and his utility is so simple, but it's also very powerful. Like right there with the taunt up, a 30,000 plus SP1, and this matchup is over, man, just like that. And some beautiful crits to end the fight right there. That was like a minute, under 2 minutes, very, very solid. Now we have this Eternity of Pain Bishop matchup, and this is just such a funny matchup, man, because the note that like really makes this annoying is I forgot what it's called, but you pretty much play hot potato with with like a timer, right? And Bishop, if he throws a special attack, puts the timer onto you. However, with Kang's SP2 full power drain, that just never happens, so we just always win the hot potato matchup since it always stays on Bishop. So like that's honestly so hilarious how he just cheeses this matchup. And like with the stun as well, it is so hard for Bishop to just get any offense in whatsoever. So yeah, it's a very, very fun fight because Kang has just so much control, right? And usually control characters aren't really known for their damage output. I think Future Ant-Man is a very rare exception to that. And like this is just a breath of fresh air, because this is a 7-star control character that is hitting like a truck, man, and you just don't really see that. Like the Vision's not really known for their damage output, but this guy has the same level of power control in my opinion, plus some extra control with the stun loop, and he has 20,000 plus mediums and beautiful SP2 crits. So yeah, this trophy champ, I am so happy that I picked him and I didn't go for the Thanos dupe. I love Thanos. He is my favorite trophy champion probably. Like obviously, right? It's Thanos. You have to love the guy. And yeah, I do really enjoy Thanos, but I think this guy definitely is giving him a run for his money, because Thanos was really fun to make, videos on because of his crazy synergy team, but Kang, man, like Kang actually can really put in work where it matters, like in the Gauntlet, for example, which is pretty much where fun champions or like meme characters, they get completely halted, right? Because they just don't have the utility to take some of those fights. But Kang, he doesn't stop there, man. He can absolutely do the Gauntlet, and that's like a really good showing of a champion. So yeah, Kang is such a beast. He is so much fun to play as well. So simple. Like I love these simple champions, and Kang pretty much as simple as it gets. So yeah, now we're gonna stun loop here, and it goes pretty well because of the relic node in Act 8, which like supercharges the spirit gain. And yeah, here we drop the relic into another SP1, and that should do it, because yeah, that's just like game over. Plus a nice little heavy attack there. And that was like, what, under a minute? That was a pretty good fight. Yeah, very, very solid fight right there. Now we have this Footloose node, and I wanted to test if I can just fully stun lock this Gladiator Hulk without seeing the Footloose node once. That's the game plan. I want it to seem like Footloose isn't even a node in this matchup, so let's try to get that done. And yeah, the spirit gain in Act 8 is like crazy strong, which really enhances his stun loop. So let's see the results of this craziness, man. So the stun loop is now in full effect. I go back in, I drop the SP1, and it's just like that's it. Like that's really it. So just like absurd and silly, like a bit silly, a bit unbalanced to be honest, because it's pretty much impossible to leave this loop now, especially with the increased relic spirit gain. So yeah, this is it, man. This is like the pinnacle of Kang right here, just like absolutely trolling this Gladiator Hulk fight. And by the way, Footloose has not triggered once in this matchup. Drop the SP1 again, And here's the crazy part. For some champions, getting cheesy loops requires them sacrificing like all of their damage output. Kang is still hitting insanely hard in this fight. Like, we are still doing like almost 20,000 mediums, and that's it. Fight's done with a beautiful 50,000 crit. I rounded up, but that's okay. And yeah, Kang, one of the, I don't want to like be too dramatic, but I'm gonna be dramatic. He's one of the best control champions in the game. When nodes enhance him and like he has the damage to back it up with APOC, it's very hard to stop this champ, in my opinion anyway. So here we're gonna go for the relic. We're gonna drop the SP1 again, and this is just gonna be such a cheese fest, man. And like, it's crazy because I posted like other fights in this video, right? It's not just him cheesing these fights, it's him really putting some work where it matters, like versus Gauntlet opponents and Eternity of Pain bosses, for example. When he needs to, he can put in the work, but he also has this cheese mode that's just like really powerful as well. And yeah, fight's done just like that. And let's end it with a crit. Come on, there we go. 42,000 right there. Man, Kang is crazy. He is a crazy strong character with APOC, and his utility is so basic but just so powerful. So when you pair those two things together, you have a very, very solid champion. So let me know your thoughts on 7-star Kang. Let's keep the momentum going on the channel, and yeah, I really appreciate y'all a lot. Let's get through my sickness together. I hope it isn't too bad and I can just keep on posting videos without any interruption. And yeah, that's about it for me.